Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 10 o'clock news on Q2, Montana's news leader.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Jeanelle Slade.
And I'm Jay Cohn. The 81-year-old man killed during a Sunday night carjacking here in Billings, identified today as a 25-year Montana law enforcement veteran.
William Joy, the former Bighorn County sheriff, was abducted from a Billings post office, murdered in his own vehicle, and his body left in a middle school parking lot.
William Joy served as sheriff in Bighorn County for 4 years. He was also a graduate of Billings Senior High School. He was elected Bighorn County sheriff in November 1982, retiring 4 years later in 1986.
Joy spent 16 years on the Hardin Police Department before he went to work for Bighorn County for another 9 years.
Tonight, authorities are asking for the public's help in locating the murder weapon. This as new details emerge in court surrounding this murder.
Q2 Samantha Harrelson is following the story and standing by with the latest. Sammy.
Jay and Jeanelle, the suspect, Donald Gray Jr., a transient from North Carolina, made his first appearance in court this afternoon. Defense attorneys say Gray had only been in Billings for 1 week when he allegedly abducted Joy at the post office on 15th Avenue West and Broadwater Avenue before killing him. Charging documents state Gray saw Joy getting into his car. He approached him and threatened him with a knife, ordering him to drive away. They drove a couple of blocks before they stopped near Lewis and Clark Middle School. Gray told police Joy became combative and was trying to attract attention, so he stabbed him multiple times in the chest, dumping the body at the school. Gray was arrested by officers a short time later after he was pulled over for a traffic violation. He was transported to jail where officers say he confessed to the crime. He's being held tonight on $1 million bond. And Billings police are now asking for the public's help in locating the knife used in the murder. The weapon is described as a knife with a 5.5-inch steel blade and a black handle. If you do find a knife similar to this, don't touch it and notify police immediately. Jay and Jeanelle.
Thanks, Sammy.
Now, Montana Attorney General Tim Fox knew the victim and says he served with Bill Joy during his stint as a Hardin police dispatcher.
In a statement tonight, Fox says, quote, "I considered him a role model and a friend. He was a hardworking, personable, overachieving person, emblematic of everything that is right with public service."
Q2 also learned today that Bill Joy is the father of newly elected Billings City Councilwoman Denise Joy. Denise Joy serves for Billings Ward 3.
The Billings Police Department employee fired in February for stealing drug evidence appeared in court for the first time today. 38-year-old Rollin Strizich is now charged with tampering with public records or information after she admitted stealing close to 1,000 pills collected as evidence in more than 130 cases.
Strizich was released on her own recognizance under the court order today. She is to have no contact with anyone in the Billings Police Department. In January of 2017, she contacted a supervisor and confessed to stealing pills from the facility for her own personal use. The charging documents state that she told her supervisor she was aware of the surveillance cameras within the facility, but says she didn't care if she got caught. It was during the investigation into this case that department officials learned that Strizich had sex with 3 Billings police officers on city property in some cases while they were on duty.
A former Custer County High School science teacher booked into jail today on suspicion of multiple sexual encounters with a 15-year-old Miles City student. 38-year-old Morgan Pett is charged with 6 counts of sexual intercourse without consent, 1 count of sexual abuse of children, and 1 count of tampering with evidence. A Custer County jail employee says Pett was extradited from Alaska, where he was working after he left his Miles City teaching job last year. Now, the girl told authorities the meetings happened in both of their vehicles and both of their homes between December 2016 and January 2017. Court documents state the encounter stopped after Pett's wife discovered nude photos on his computer and alerted police. Prosecutors say DNA matching Pett's sample was found in the girl's vehicle. Pett, who faces a maximum sentence of life in prison, is being held in the Custer County Detention Center on $500,000 bail.
The Montana Public Service Commission today gave its approval to a deal that includes $4.5 million for the town of Colstrip. On a vote of 4-1, the PSC voting to approve the sale of Spokane-based Avista Corporation to a Canadian utility, Hydro One. Now, Avista is part owner of Colstrip Units 3 and 4, the newer of the 4 Colstrip plants. And as part of this deal, Avista agrees to give the town of Colstrip $4.5 million money that will help with the town's transition to a post-coal future. Still, Avista CEO Scott Morris, you see here, told the Montana PSC last month he does not see those two newer coal strip plants shutting down anytime soon. Montana Commissioner Tony O'Donnell of Billings cast the lone vote against the deal. To complete the sale, Avista also needs approval of the utility commissions in Oregon, Washington, Idaho, and Alaska.
MSU Billings has named longtime Billings banker Ed Garding as the school's interim dean of the College of Business.
Garding served as president and CEO of the First Bank system from 2012 to 2015, and he is still involved at First Interstate as the corporate and government relations officer. Garding is an alum of MSU Billings, earning his bachelor's degree in business administration when the Billings School was known as Eastern Montana College.
Garding, who was honored in 2004 with MSUB's Outstanding Alumni Award, will assume his new role on July 2nd.
On to the weather scene tonight. Wildfires burning out of control near Durango, Colorado. Bob, we've got our eye on what this rain means for Montana. What's our fire season looking like?
It really helps for us right now because we've had so much rain. I think what's going to happen, we're going to be delayed. But let me show you what's happening already. Wildfire season is happening. This is the 416 fire in Durango. Now, it's covering 35 square miles. Another 127 homes were evacuated today, making it up to 2,100 homes evacuated in that area. And as you see, there's a lot of smoke, a lot of fire. Let me show you why they're having so much trouble. This is the drought outlook. And as you see, back September, there was plenty of fluid. There was plenty of water there in Durango. But then they had a very dry winter and a very dry summer. And now they have exceptional drought there. Back here in Montana, you might remember we had a very dry summer as well, but we had a very wet winter and a very wet spring so far. And so our drought monitor shows no drought at all. It looks like maybe our wildfire season could be delayed, maybe pushed back to the end of summer, or possibly even into the fall. Jay, Jeanelle?
All right, thank you, Bob.
President Trump is en route back to the U.S. following the historic summit with North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un.
We have the latest for you tonight from CBS's Nikki Batiste.
President Trump is celebrating his summit with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. Mr. Trump believes what happened in Singapore may turn out to be a breakthrough that would eventually lead Kim to give up nuclear weapons. While traveling back to the U.S., Mr. Trump tweeted from Air Force One. Got along great with Kim Jong-un, who wants to see wonderful things for his country. As I said earlier today, anyone can make war, but only the most courageous can make peace. Late Tuesday, Kim said if the U.S. takes real action to build trust, North Korea will take additional goodwill measures. In the joint statement signed by both leaders, North Korea committed to denuclearization, but the document says nothing about how that would happen or how it could be verified. The White House says the deal should be seen as a framework for a larger agreement. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo will lead the next round of talks with Pyongyang.
It's a welcome improvement to see the two of them having a dialogue rather than engaging in name-calling and saber-rattling.
Congressional leaders expressed hope, though many said they remained skeptical about Kim Jong-un's intentions.
I hope we get to a point where he abandons his nuclear weapons, abandons his missiles, and takes the country in a different direction. I'm just not optimistic about it.
In a surprise concession, President Trump announced an end to joint U.S.-South Korea military exercises. The Pentagon has yet to release details on when that would happen. Nikki Batiste, CBS News, the White House.
Elsewhere tonight, Donald Trump Jr. will be in Billings a week from Friday. He'll be here to deliver the keynote address to the Republican Party's platform convention dinner.
Now that word tonight from the campaign of GOP Senate nominee Matt Rosendale. In addition to Trump Jr., Montana Senator Steve Daines, Congressman Greg Gianforte, and Rosendale will also speak at that convention. The GOP dinner will be held at the Billings Convention Center with Friday's dinner beginning at 7 p.m. Now, this will be a return trip to Montana for Trump Jr.
Last spring, he made several appearances in Montana, campaigning alongside Republican House candidate Greg Gianforte. That was during Montana's special congressional election.
Coming up on tonight's 10 o'clock news, AT&T all set to move forward with its $85 billion merger with Time Warner.
Plus, later, a story that may tick you off or at least help you keep the ticks off.
And in sports, the Billings Royals are 22-3 at the season's midway point. They tell us how they've kept up the incredible pace.
You're watching MTN News with Jay Cohn and Jeanelle Slade. Storm Tracker weather with Bob McGuire. And sports with Scott Green. This is the 10 o'clock news on Q2, Montana's news leader.